All right, Shalom. It's the brother Kaya from the GMS Louisiana Saints coming back at you with another quick lesson. Prior to getting started, as I always do, I'd like to give infinite honors and prayers to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to the Agams that's pushing the truth and sincerity. And Lord willing, this video will be edifying first and foremost to the whole elect, then to those that cleave to the body. And I won't get into an article today. Real quick, I'm going to be brief. I just want to say a couple things on it, and I'm going to get out of here. It says, U.S., the United States, to end crack and powder cocaine sentencing disparity. Now, we know that crack cocaine in the 80s, you know, the late 70s, early 80s, all right, tore our people down. You know, you so-called Negroes, chiefly, Latinos and Native Americans, man. Tore our people down, man. All right, had our people fighting one against another, but it all lies up against the curses as well. And the Lord allowed, you know, a pestilence, plague, a drug epidemic to show us the fact that we went off from him, man. Okay? And how, what can happen to a nation, you know, how the terribleness of a nation, you know, that will befall them, you know, when they subside into doing evil, man. Okay? Now, we know that the wicked, okay, it says let the law of justice, right? Because contrary to popular belief, you know how many people are still in jail right now from crack cocaine, man? All right. Then you got the movie The Carter, all right, New Jack City, you know, Scarface, you know, all these different movies, man, that moved our people to deceit, right? Adultery, robbery, murder, stealing, all these things happen, okay, because of this epidemic, man. You know, that which they had put into the neighborhoods, all right, they built up projects, cornered our people off in them, man, and put drugs in there. You had FBI, you know, the FBI, the CIA, you know, all these alphabet boys actually, you know, distributing it to, you know, our people. You know, they'll let one Jake, you know, get big or whatnot, you know, throughout all the people and then distribute to them. And when they won't get rid of them, they'll just get rid of them. But nonetheless, they took a lot of lives, you know, took your so-called freedom away from you for, you know, the drug game. You know, chiefly crack cocaine, man, because there wasn't not a greater epidemic, all right, amongst our people than crack cocaine, man. It's legendary. The amount of people, the amount of millions of Israelites that it killed, or either what, locked away to jail, took away, it broke our family structure, homes, fathers, all that, man. So I just found it interesting. After all these years, now y'all gonna do this, man. All right. It says, this Wisdom of Solomon 2:11. It says, let our strength be the law of justice. See, they got the injustice system, man. This the wicked. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. So they look at us as a feeble folk, all right, a nation of people that's inferior, all right. They look at us as the, you know, the minority, not the majority, man, all right. It says, let us oppress the poor, righteous man. Let us not spare the widow nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. All right, so when this was introduced in the 80s, chiefly is when it made its big mark throughout the 80s to the 90s. Then it, you know, it rolled off a little bit with, you know, I believe heroin kind of ushered this in, all right. And then you had the pill, the opioid epidemic. You know, after this crack epidemic, you still got crack cocaine, but it's not like it was, man. You know, but let me read into a little bit of this article, and I ain't gonna be long. It says the U.S. Justice Department has moved to end the sentencing disparity between crack and powder cocaine offenses, just like they softened up on marijuana, so-called. Start putting dispensaries around the world, you know, different places. So what they gonna start putting crack dispensaries everywhere? All right. And another thing is they won't let these psychopathic institutionalized mentally people out, all right, so it could be they can get out into a society in a system to where they don't understand it, man. All right. Whereas it's just completely something that's adverse to the way they've been living, because they've been living like animals, man, in the prison system, man. The prison industrial system. They have taught our people mentally to be animalistic. So when you let them out in the world, it just amplifies their animalistic mind state, man. It says, to end the disparity between crack and powder cocaine offenses ending a policy while it's seen as racist. Well, how can a policy be racist? I thought only people can be racist. But that's neither here nor there. You got to know what racist mean. It says, Attorney General Merrick Garland said in a memo that the policy drives unwarranted racial disparities in our criminal justice system. Because they was giving those football numbers to Jake, man, for drugs. All right? I mean, Jake ain't killed nobody, for crying out loud. How you get 40, 50 years, you know, for running up? Which Jake have murders and different things that they do to it. But chiefly is an unrighteous decree. Ultimately because, you know, how you take a man's life for something that you created in a lab, bought it to they, shipped it on ships, bought it to their neighborhoods, and then gave it to them, man. Planted it there, planted moles, all right, and gave it to our people to find a way out. Be a quick way of making money, man. Which was a quick way of them actually taking your so-called little freedom you have. All right, you already a slave, but to take your rights, it mean what? We don't gotta pay you at none of these jobs and nothing you work at, all right? Because we still slave-based regardless, all right? But it just, once you go to jail, you just lose all your personal rights to say anything, right? You really have no rights. But when you go to jail, you just stay property from that point. It says President Joe Biden had backed ditching the sentence guidelines he himself crafted as a senator decades ago. So, and this is how you know these people just amend laws when they get ready and how they want, man. When they want to, for who they want to do it to, man. All right? We behind enemy lines. It says the new rule will take effect within 30 days. It does not apply retroactively. All right? Which, now they're going to go back on old sentencing. Well, they done gave Jake 40 years. Jake may have been down 25 years since the 80s, early 90s. We talking, what, 10, 20, 25 plus years. So that'll get them an imminent release. And then they're going to just say, we sorry. You know, it shouldn't have been that harsh of a judgment. But nonetheless, man, you know, all these things is done for what? The killing of a nation, man. You know, and that nation being Israelites. It says Friday updated guidelines call for prosecutors to promote the equivalent treatment of crack and powder cocaine offenses. The crack powder disparity in sentencing has no basic in science, furthers no law enforcement purposes, and drives unwarranted racial disparities in our criminal justice system, said the Justice Department memo to federal prosecutors. The policy was created by the 1986 Anti-Drug Abuse Act, which was crafted by Senator Joe Biden. The law mandated a 5-year minimum sentence for trafficking in 500 grams of powder cocaine or 5 grams of crack. Towards the end of his Senate career, Mr. Biden disavowed the bill. The now president has led calls for the policy to be scrapped. The sentencing gap has since narrowed from a 100-to-1 ratio to 18-to-1. Mr. Biden's own son, Hunter, has written about his personal struggles with drug abuse, including crack cocaine. Racial justice advocates cheered Friday move, saying it was needed to help reform a sentencing protocol that saw black Americans disproportionately incarcerated, you know, by large amounts of numbers, man. You know how many Jake back there doing life sentences for drugs, multiple decades for just drugs, man. You know? But they emphasize that ongoing congressional efforts to codify the change into law were key. But they emphasize that, Salakia. It says, Senator Cory Booker, a New Jersey Democrat who is sponsoring legislation to change the law on cocaine sentencing. Well, shouldn't these people get reparations? I mean, you know, these people was taken from homes, you know, different places like that. Not to say, you know, they, at the end of the day, we all criminals. A criminal's just a slave, all right? But nonetheless, you know, these people taken from their families, corrupted, houses destroyed, you know, children even fell to the epidemic. Some of their children got on drugs when they left, man. All right, this just ruined the nation of people, man. And y'all gonna just call it back, disannul it, or disavow it this late? The damage is done. It says today's announcement recognizes the injustice and takes steps to finally strike parity between powder and crack cocaine sentences where there is no pharmacological differences in substances. Yeah, well, what's done with it is a difference because you're actually adding a chemical to make it a crack, all right, from a powder form, you know. But nonetheless, regardless, however it go, man, all right, there was an unrighteous decree, and these devils gonna have to pay for everything that they have done to our people, man. Okay, they gonna have to get it in blood. All right, they're gonna have to pay in blood. So Abba Ratazada was edifying, man. Till next time, I say shalom.